Hi there, my name's Vince. Don't turn off. I know you see pull string toys, and you know as well as I do that I vowed I would never do another one of them again. It all started years ago when I attempted to fix an innocent little toy called Andy Pandy. I thought he was innocent, but he was the biggest pain I've ever experienced in my life. And I've experienced pain. I've had tubes stuck in me where they don't deserve to go. I've had a kidney removed. I've had my fair share of being sliced open and things moved around on the inside of me. But yet none of that compares to the pain inflicted to me by Andy Pandy. Luckily, Andy Pandy was part of a competition that I did, and I managed to sell him for much less than I bought him for, even though I spent hours working on him and put money into him as well. I thought I was rid of Andy Pandy in my life, and then in a very, 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 what I would call sick gesture by Martin's going to be watching this, a box arrived. And I was told not to open it until Christmas Day. And I didn't know who it was from because he put a different address on it, which was very cunning. And I thought, oh, this might be nice. On Christmas Day, look what arrived. Yes, Andy Pandy is back in my life again. The one whose name shouldn't be mentioned in my household is back in my life again. And this one's even worse because this one actually works.
A for Andy, P for Pandy.
Oh my God. Anyway, after him, I went on to do 3 more. A Womble, Mickey Mouse, and also Rupert the Bear. Rupert the Bear went back to its owner. The Womble, I love the Womble. Everything about the Womble is good. It doesn't sound like a Womble, but the Womble's good. And Mickey has been a source of much entertainment in my house because it's always a novelty trying to work out what the hell he's saying. That's right, we don't understand them either. But anyway, yes, I said I would never do one again. Oh my word, look at this. We'll unwrap her in a minute. I think it's a Thumbelina doll. And this one's very, very old. And the reason I agreed to do this one is because this one is going to end up in a museum in America. Is it going to end up there? It depends whether it's fixable or not. So this was sent over to me by Martin, but this will hopefully end up in the States if I can fix it. But I'll talk more about the museum later on in the video. Yeah, that's it. Let's take it over to the blue mat and let's see what's going on with this one here. Martin's already unstitched it for me and he knows how bad I am at stitching. I don't know if there's any evidence of my stitching. Well, there you go. That's evidence of my stitching across here. So there's no point in me ruining it by doing the stitching, but hopefully it might be quite interesting on the inside. So basically, I want to get this to work, but I'm not going to stitch it up at the end. Martin's going to do that for me before it gets sent over to the States. Yeah, so let's get it over to the blue mat. I'll tell you what, let's pull the string now. Hope it doesn't all fly out at me. Yeah, look at that. I'm not going to let go because it's just going to fly back in. So it's not doing anything there at all. Let's see what's happening on the inside of this. It's in remarkable condition. And very, very, very lifelike when you look at the eyes and stuff. A lot of detail has gone in there. Right, it says on the back here, there's a date. Let's zoom in. So the other ones that I did were made by Burbank, but this is made by Ideal. And it says there 19, it looks like 87, but on the internet, apparently this is 67. So I suppose the 8 and the 6 look quite similar to each other. So 1967, made in Japan. Right, let's have a look on the inside and see what's going on. Now obviously something of this age is going to be quite collectible. Now if you haven't, this might bring some new people to the channel. If you haven't seen my videos before, this is going to be like a trying to fix. I've never taken this apart before. Yes, I've done pull string toys. The reason Martin sent me this one is because it's not like a normal pull string toy. So just take it purely for entertainment. I'll try not to break it, but I might end up breaking it in the process. Now obviously originally it would have had clothes. Okay. Ooh. Ah, right now. Oh.
Okay. Well, 1 minute. Now, what we got here? Got that there. So when you do that, obviously that's supposed to turn like this, isn't it? So all that's going to happen is the head's going to wiggle. So there's nothing in the arms or legs. It's just the head that's going to wiggle, which I presume makes the whole baby wiggle. It must be just like that. Oh, I was expecting more off a mechanism, you know, going down into the arms and the legs. So now, 1 second, what's going on in this head? Is there more in the head? Or is it just hollow? I'm just going to see if this pops out. I was just curious whether there was anything above the hole. Yes, there is. There, that's in there. Right, so now... Okay, so that's broken, isn't it? So we did need to take that off there. That's broken. That must be going onto... Oh no, that goes onto here. Right, that goes onto here. Not quite sure what we need that bit for. Is that just at that bottom bit there? Okay. Right, we've got more markings here. Let's zoom in. There we go. It says there clearly 1968. Ideal. Mechanism made in Japan. Spring made in the USA. Interesting. Right, okay, well, we can leave this now to one side. So really, if you had a very rare doll, then maybe all of the insides, you know, and maybe if this was very rare and you had another one which wasn't so rare, maybe you could just swap the insides, which is quite useful to know. So Martin must have... Yeah, he must have undone the string and done it up again. So that must be a new knot, because that would need to be this side off here. Right, let's put the doll to one side. Also, we have some markings here as well. It says Ideal Toy Corporation, Hollis, New York, all new material, polyurethane foam, made in Japan. Well, nicely, we've got screws here, not like the other voice boxes which are glued. It's kind of weird. This seems to be more modern than the other ones, even though it's of the same era or older. Now I'm just going to be careful because this might spring out on me. Right, here we go now. So is that linked to that there? Yeah, that goes all the way through to there. Right, okay. I hate seeing white plastic gears because normally the nylon gears break. Ah, that is, look at that. That is the regulator thing, the thing that slows it down. There's a name for that. I can't remember. The governor. I think it is the governor. So as it spins, this gets pushed out and then slows down against here. So obviously that's not working properly. Let's see now. I was going to say, should there be felt on here, but there's no evidence of felt anywhere. Yeah, why isn't that governor working? Because that's what should slow it down on the way back in. Interesting. Well, amazingly, they're not broken. So let's gently take them off. I'm just going to take a picture of that before I take it apart. So the question is, why is it releasing all its energy in one go? That says to me it's the governor. Why is the governor not working when it's showing no signs of being broken? So as it spins, it should work its way out and hit against the sides to slow down, like that. Because I was sure there should be felt there to slow it down. How's it going to slow down otherwise? Now I've got to be careful in here because this is where the spring is. So now, is this going to come off or not? Don't want to break the gears, you see. I think I'm going to struggle to take that off, because I think I'd have to flatten this down here and then slide it all the way through. But I don't think the problem is with this side. You can see the spring just here. Just like a mainspring off a clock. I wonder if I was to lift it over this notch, would that allow me to then just slide it out just to see what's happening? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Right, I want to watch that spring. Don't want it to spring out at me, so I'm putting my hand over here. Now let's see what's going on. I think there's a broken part in there. Oh no, that's the thing. That's the thing that I've just done just now. Right, okay. How have they done this? Oh, look what they've done here. It's like a figure of 8. You see this big spring here? It's not just here, it then goes round here. So it's like a figure of 8. So when you're pulling this, all that's happening is that you're putting it onto this one here. Just see in here, you can see the spring, and the spring goes round onto this one. So when you pull it, can you see it's just winding from one onto the other? Right, okay, we don't need to worry about that side there. So it's something to do with the governor. So really now, this one shouldn't fail because you haven't got the O-rings that are going to deteriorate. Right, okay, well I thought it was just a governor thing that was the problem, but look, it's not actually spinning this round, is it? When we're releasing this back, it's not spinning at all. So if it was just a governor problem, then this would spin super fast. But this isn't spinning. Why? Right, so... So we've got a problem here. So look, it spins now, but not when we put the gears on it. Is it because, look, it doesn't take anything to make it stop? Look at that, just my finger tapping against it stops it. So that's it, it's the resistance on here, so there is something wrong in this part here. Look at that, that's just, that's loose. Right, okay, so it's not the top half. There might be something wrong with the top half, but annoyingly, it's something in here. Now this is going to where it starts to get difficult. So it must be where the spring grips onto this, you know, like the arbor or whatever in the middle here, is no longer connecting. Because this wheel is fully onto here. I mean, look, if I hold that there, you know, that's not spinning on the axle. That's where the problem is where this meets the middle of the spring. So this is going to have to come out. It's just that in taking this out, I think it's going to break. So what I thought was the governor just spinning is not. As soon as those other cogs are on it, the wheels, it's just not doing anything. That governor's not spinning whatsoever. That's a shame now that to get to that part is the hardest part and the most destructive part. I'm wondering whether it'd be better to grind this down here and then try to somehow bodge it up later. I think it's all assembled and then I think a machine crushes that bit there, like crimps that bit in. Let's get the Dremel tool out. Okay, I've got my safety glasses on and I've got my Having Fun Repairs Dremel tool. Tighten it up there. Got a disc on it. Let's try and grind this down a little bit. Keep that string out of the way. Oh, it's going to go. Right, okay, I'm going to keep my glasses on because I don't know how much energy is going to be in this spring. Oh, here we go, look at that. That's coming off, fantastic. And let's see if I can take this out. Obviously, don't copy what you see in these videos. This is not going to be safe. If this was to unravel, there can be a huge amount of energy in springs like this. Now, why is that not coming out there now? What's stopping it from coming out? Okay. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. That's good. Now I have to unravel this bit by bit. Oh, of course, it wants to go inwards. No, that's okay, because it wants to go in. It doesn't want to spring out that way. Right, that's okay. So it's this one here that's going to go crazy. Here we go. Well, the energy is bit by bit disappearing from it. That's it. That's fine. That's the energy gone. So now, why won't it come out? Here we go. Ah, okay, so the pull string's on there. Do you know what? I completely forgot about the pull string. Right, now, what is going on in here? Why are you not working? Let's get rid of this spring. So I'm just going to take a picture of how it is put on. Right, so there we go. That is intact. Right, what have we got here? Why is this part not linked to this part anymore? Annoyingly, I still can't get... Oh, yes, I can. Here we go. Here we go. Right now, what's happened? What's broken? Well, there's an awful lot of wear in here. A lot of plastic dust in here. And there's a little spring here. Is that spring snapped, I wonder? I do actually need to try to straighten this. I don't think I'm going to be able to though. Yes, I am. There we go. Right, now, so this is where the wear's taking place. Can you see all this plastic dust? I still can't quite work out how it works. So now, what have we got here? A spring. Has the spring snapped? Was the spring just spinning on here because of wear? Either that or it's kind of been bent out. Can you see that this bit here is bent out along there, which in theory then is going to make that bit shorter. That bit's longer. That's not gripping on the inside because of these grooves and stuff. It's just spinning around on the inside now. It's not gripping. It has to grip. The spring has to grip on either this bit here or this bit here, or that bit and that bit, depending on which way it's turning. And it's not doing that. It's just spinning on the inside here, and that's what's made all this plastic mess. So the way to fix it, I suppose, is to try to fill this plastic up again, but it's just going to wear. Either fill the plastic up or make that spring longer. But why can't I just spin it around the other way? Really, I need to spin it around the other way, but make sure it's fully on. So you can see here that that's kind of become stretched, that bit there, and that's why it's not as long. You know? This bit here needs to be longer. There you go, just broke. Right, okay, that just broke. Can I bend out a new bit of spring? Okay, at least I understand now what's happened. It makes sense. So the spring just got shortened because it kind of overlapped here, and it wore into the plastic. Now I wonder, would that be enough? Well, I suppose the fact that the spring is now longer will fix that issue. I'm just wondering why it's done on that side as well. Is it supposed to catch on both sides? And now that I've shortened it, is it going to cause a problem? You know, is it going to still work as a clutch? Not sure. But I'm thinking that definitely now, originally, we wouldn't have had this groove in here. So maybe we should try to fill in the groove a little bit here as well. And then it might make it last a little bit longer. I mean, if I do get it working, it's going to be nothing like when it was new. So let's try to fill in these bits here with some Q-Bond. So this is the Cubon stuff here. I believe it's the same as using super glue and baking powder.
So you can see me just adding the black powder around the place to fill up the gaps in the plastic that have been worn away, and then I'm using the activator to set it all and make it rock hard. It's quite a messy job, so after I've done all this I just need to give it a little bit of a clean up with the Dremel just to kind of make it smooth and usable again.
Okay, so I've ground out the middle of that now. It looks a mess, but hopefully it should be stronger. If you have a look, you can see that I've built up the side walls there. It's incredibly hard, this stuff. So hopefully now the spring won't be so tempted to go in there and create the groove, because there is no groove there. I know it looks a mess, but if it works. So if you have a look now, when we do this, you can see that that's how the spring winds up. Goes around there, yeah, goes back. So we've got our spring in place there. Let's see if it's going to grip into it. Yeah, look, the clutch is working. Can you see when I put my finger here? But yet, when I start to go in, the clutch isn't. The clutch, you know, kicks in. So look, can you see now? That's good. Right, that, I wonder what is that going to do, or is that spring just going to fail again? Maybe that's all it needs. Right, here goes. Now, obviously I haven't crimped this bit here, so there might still be play on here. Let's see if it's going to do anything. No. Why is it not working now? Maybe I've got those on too tight. Well, it brought it all the way in. Let's try that again. So it's when I put pressure on it here that it stops.
So yeah, it's not really ideal, is it, that I can't do the screws up fully, because it means that things are not quite aligned right. But still, it is working more than it was before. So I'm going to add some hot glue to each of the 2 screws. That will stop them vibrating loose, even though the whole enclosure is ever so slightly looser than it was. The screws ain't going to go anywhere because they're glued into place. And then if anybody needs to get into it in the future, they can just use IPA to release the grip off the hot glue. I'm then going to put some stuff in the arms and legs to fill up the doll a little bit, because it all seems a little bit weak and flimsy around the place. It doesn't quite look right. And then hopefully it will look better and it will do something more than it did originally. So I've nearly reached the end of the video and I haven't mentioned the My Mate Vince Massive. So here goes. The members are kipdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Having Fun Repairs, Ellensburg Amplifier Repair and Service, Will Michaelis, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, King Curd from Lowbook Auto Sales, DJVG, Stuart Park, Ellis Garbett, Pigsy, the My Mate Vince Fan Club, Braden Butts from Connecticut, Kenneth Blenstrup Sorensen. Big thanks, guys, and that is it, nearly done on this video. All we have to do now is do the impossible knot on these pull string toys, and also I just need to give her a little clean up, and then that is her done. In the meantime, again off camera, I have glued and Q-bonded the little posts that was sticking up out of the head. Do you remember the bottom of the head that I popped out earlier? I don't know if I broke that post or it was already broken. I can't remember it rattling beforehand, but I didn't really pay much attention. But anyway, I super glued it on and then I built around it using Q-bond to give it strength. So yeah, at this point of the video, I'm more than happy with it.
Okay, so it just needs to be stitched up here. It's definitely fuller than it was before because of the padding here and here, so you can see the arms are not floppy anymore. And if we pull it, you will now see it's wiggling around the place. It would probably work better if it wasn't on the sticky blue mat. Right, okay, let's finish up the video.
Right now, check this out. And there she goes, wiggling away for herself. Now, some of you have probably turned off the video by now and you're thinking, yeah, well done, Vince, you've done a good job. But have I done a good job? No. What you see here is Andy Pandy Mark II. I have had a complete nightmare with this. Eagle-eyed viewers might notice that it looks a little bit different than before. Do you remember before? I put the padding in here and here and here and here, and she looked nice and plump, nice and healthy. Now we've gone back to this weird thing going on here where there's no stuffing. And the reason is because I was all proud of myself. I was showing it off to my kids, my wife, saying, look, haven't I done a good job, blah, 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 1968, this, that and the other. And then after many, many, many goes, it started to get a bit hit and miss. And I thought, what's going on? Then it locked up completely. And I was like, what? So then I had to take it apart again. And I realised that the stuffing I used had become all tangled round the bit that spins at the top. It had just wound and wound and wound and wound and then made itself into a massive knot. And it was too much friction there for the thing to turn. So then I freed that up. And then I thought, okay, yeah, brilliant. You know, it's never going to work as good as new, but it's still working. And I kept on doing it time after time after time. And I noticed it started to skip more. It was skipping where it was making that kind of noise, like that. And so I took it apart again. And I noticed the teeth were starting to wear. And then in all that messing, the metal thing that comes up the top with the bend on that actually makes the head spin, or sorry, makes the thing spin to make it wobble, snapped. Do you remember where I kept bending it to straighten it, to take it out and then bend it again and straighten it? Well, I weakened the metal and it snapped. So how did I get it working? I didn't. I've had to get a complete different movement from the inside. Ta-da! Twin. So now this is from the same era, 1968 again. But this one isn't as rare. Apparently this one is much rarer, but the insides are the same. You can see that they're the same doll. So what I had to do is I had to sacrifice this one to put the insides into this one here. So it's not a fix, it's just a replacement, but I really did do my very best. The thing is, I've still kind of enjoyed the video because I proved what the fault was. And now what the fault was is we know that that plastic thing on the inside, the spring, after just hundreds of goes, has just wore a groove into it, so it's not catching it anymore and bringing it round, it's just spinning inside that thing there. You could 3D print the inside bit, and if you were to 3D print that, then that would hopefully be a lasting repair. I'm not sure if the plastic used in the 3D printer would be as strong as the original plastic in here. Maybe it'd be even stronger. If you were really into it, you could probably put some metal collet or something on the inside there. But I think they're not as repairable as the ones with the rubber O-ring, because the ones with the rubber O-ring is you replace the rubber O-ring and then the rest of it's okay. But with this, the wear is against the plastic, against the spring. And if I was to do another one now, then because I understand it more, I would go straight for that plastic thing and I would try to fill it up with the Q-bond that I used, or get some sort of metal collet for the inside. And then I think if you only had to bend the arm once, you might get away with it then. Or the plastic gears do come away. They're not glued on, they're held on, so that metal arm has got a kind of a pattern where it's like a rough bit, so it's all smooth, but where that gear is, it's all rough. So it's just friction that holds that gear on, so the gear does slide off, but it is very much firmly on there. I think if you were to take it on and off too many times, again, it would wear. But yeah, so that is it. A massive thanks to Joanie for allowing me to work on it. Apologies I couldn't fix what was originally in it. I gave it a really good go there. Let me give a shout out to Joanie's museum. It is the Memory Moment Museum Talking Dolls and Toys in Millerstown, Pennsylvania, 17062 in the great USA. So there we have it. Big thanks to Martin for letting me know about this. Big thanks to Joanie for letting me fix it. And hopefully now it can be given back to Martin. He can stitch it up. I've taken all the padding out of here because look, originally it had no padding in anyway. I suppose another way of doing it could be with crushed up foam. With crushed up foam, maybe then it wouldn't get knotted round the mechanism. But there we have it. Let me play you out with the little doll doing her thing. Thanks so much for watching.